This conference will now be recorded.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. My name is Dr. Doug Smith, and this is our daily podcast. We just take 8, 10, 11 minutes every day. And what we do is we go through the science. This is where you'll hear the science. This is where you will hear the truth. If I give you my opinion, which I'm happy to do, I'll tell you, hey, this is my opinion. But what we're looking at here is the science, and we're looking at the science behind this opioid crisis. And by looking at the science and getting a better understanding of the science, we can obtain a better understanding of what happened to so many people. Now, what we're talking about today, this goes all the way back to last Thursday's podcast. Today's Wednesday, so we've been talking about this for almost a week. And last Thursday, we went through the 4 graphs. And then on Monday, we went through the first graph. On Tuesday, we went through the second graph. And now today on Wednesday, we're going to go through the third graph. These are the graphs that pretty much explain everything you have to do if you want to end the opioid crisis. Okay, if you want to understand what happened to the people that got caught up in the opioid crisis, please take a look at these graphs. We did this research. Okay, we did this research. I wrote this clinical trial. Okay, we did this. Okay, and what you're looking at here, we were looking at 4 graphs. The first graph was looking at the symptoms of the sickness. Okay, when our people, once they've been genetically damaged by the opioids, when they try to stop taking the opioids, they show symptoms of a sickness. Okay, and those symptoms are clearly what belong in a category called neurotoxicity. These are symptoms of something wrong in the nervous system. Specifically, it's something wrong in the autonomic nervous system. That's the part of the nervous system that oversees and maintains control of your organs and organ functions. Okay, rest, digestion, sleep. Those are the things. Okay, everybody's heard of the fight or flight nervous system. That's what we're talking about here. Fight or flight, rest and digest, those are the 2 big branches of the autonomic nervous system. And so what we saw was that when people were sick, they had horrible, horrible symptoms, and severely sick, and they rated their symptoms bad, really bad. But then when you gave them buprenorphine, those symptoms went away. Okay. But then what we saw was when they were having the real bad symptoms, they were craving an opioid not because they wanted to get high, but because the symptoms are so unbearable. That's the mistake that the psychiatrist made. The psychiatrist says that our people are taking opioids because they're craving to get high. No, look at the science. There is no evidence that says our people are craving to get high. That is something that the psychiatrist made up. Again, look at the evidence. Okay, look everywhere you can for somewhere where it says people are out buying fentanyl because they're craving to get high. People are out buying heroin because they're craving to get high. No, look at the science that we've done. People went out and bought fentanyl, went out and bought heroin, went out and bought pills, not because they were craving to get high, but because they couldn't bear to withstand the symptoms of the illness anymore, the sickness. And as someone said to me, you try it and you see how long you last. So what we're looking at today, okay, this is where we actually measured people going out and buying heroin, going out and buying pills, going out and buying fentanyl. And as you can see, okay, when our people are feeling the symptoms of the sickness, 100% go out and buy something. Okay, 100%. You're going to find a way to buy something. You're eventually going to buy something. Okay, it may not be this very minute, may not be this very day, but you're going to find something. You're going to find a way. And our people have stolen, our people have done things they never would have done otherwise. Okay, there are no such thing as the 10 Commandments when you're confronted with this illness. There are no such things as morals when you're confronted with this illness. This illness is all consuming. And all the people can do is just find a way to get an opioid and just get a reprieve from the illness for a couple of hours. Doesn't last forever. They just get a temporary break. So their entire life just becomes this cycle of finding what they need to not be sick. Okay, but now look what we did here. Okay, we put our people on buprenorphine, and look what happened. We put our people on buprenorphine, and look what happened. Now, the graph on the red there, okay, that's people when they're not on buprenorphine. That's people when they're feeling the sickness. That's people when they're in what's called opioid withdrawal. And they go out and they buy things. 100% of the people that we were working with went out and bought something. Okay, now, put the same people on buprenorphine, and look what happens. They're not going out and buying anything. Okay, They're not going out and buying opioids. They're not going out and buying fentanyl. They're not going out and buying heroin. They're not going out and buying pills. Okay. They didn't want to get high in the first place. They weren't out buying stuff to get high. They were out buying stuff to take away the sickness. And if you put them on buprenorphine, they're not sick anymore. They're out buying stuff. Okay. So the question is, why isn't everybody on buprenorphine? That's what we're trying to accomplish here. Everybody needs access to buprenorphine. It's the only way to stop people from going out and buying heroin, going out and buying fentanyl, going out and buying the pills. It's the only way to stop them from dying. Now, there are a few people here that did go out and buy something. Okay, there is a little bit of blue there. Okay, I personally bird dogged these down to see what had happened, and most times it was something went wrong at the pharmacy. Something went wrong at the pharmacy. Somebody couldn't get their buprenorphine within 2 or 3 days. They were sick, and they went out and bought something because they didn't know what else to do. Okay, there were a couple of 2 or 3 people who, oddly enough, did want to stop their buprenorphine and go out and get high on opioids. Those people do exist. Okay, they were like 6 out of 1,000, not 1,000 out of 1,000. Okay, so in actuality, there may be something called opioid addiction that does exist, but it's very, very rare. Okay, or that just may be just flat out substance abuse. Okay, but overwhelmingly, you put people on buprenorphine, they stop going out and buying things. You want to stop heroin coming into your community, put your people that need it on buprenorphine. You want to stop fentanyl from coming in your community, put the people that need buprenorphine on buprenorphine. Okay, you want to stop the diversion of illegal opioids, put the people that need buprenorphine on buprenorphine. You're looking at the scientific evidence. This is what science looks like. Okay, we did this data ourselves. We collected this data. This is over 100,000 patient days. Let me say that again. This data is from over 100,000 patient days. This data is jelly tight. This data is solid. This data is telling you the truth. So we've looked at 3 out of the 4 graphs. We'll look at the 4th graph tomorrow, and that will finish up this section. And then we're going to continue moving on through our citizens petition. We're taking it page by page, paragraph by paragraph, and going through the whole thing. So everybody stay with us. That's what we're doing here. You can find the citizens petition on our website. You can find the citizens petition on the FDA website. Okay, and we're going through it page by page, paragraph by paragraph to make sure that everybody understands the science behind what we're saying. My name is Dr. Doug Smith. Thank you very much for your time. We look forward to seeing you here again tomorrow. Please, if you haven't done so already, hit the like button. And if you haven't done so already, hit the subscribe button. We're trying to grow this as big as we possibly can so that people can get the word. And please take these videos and please put them all over your social media, put them all over everybody else's social media, email them to everybody, send them to every reporter you can find. Get this message out there. Thank you. We'll see you tomorrow.